What's going on, guys? This is Rob Myers here with Results Roofing. We have Quentin Hill, one of our sales guys, and then we have a special guest today, Mindi Rutledge. Welcome, Mindi. How are you doing today?
Good. How about yourself?
I'm good. So I woke up, so I'm blessed. How are you today, Q?
Man, I'm excited to be here. This is going to be a great podcast.
Perfect. So just for the intro, guys, we're going to ask Mindi a few questions. Mindi, how did you get into this market, and how long have you been in the market?
I am on my 17th year of being a realtor.
Woo!
There we go.
Let's go, 17 years.
Yes, I have seen the ups and the downs for sure.
Okay.
I originally was in the corporate world in telecom. I became a mom.
Yep.
Was trying to find a job I could do maybe part-time because I realized I wasn't I need to sit home all the time kind of mom. I wanted to do something still. So real estate was brought to me. And it was just kind of like, let me give it a try, let me see. And I was like, worst case, if I hate it, I sell my license, but I'll give it a shot. So
Okay.
here I am, 17 years later.
That's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So it's nothing that you woke up one day and was like, I want to be a realtor. Wasn't that aspiration or dream or anything like that?
No, it was so far from it. Actually, when it was first brought to me, I was like, why would I want to do that? I
Right.
don't want to be in real estate.
Wow.
And so I'm a numbers geek. I love numbers. So I was in accounting and billing and things like that at first. But I guess because I'm such a people person, it worked out.
Right. You get to interact with people every day.
Yes.
That's amazing. So you said you had kids. How many kids do you have?
I have two.
Two.
I have a daughter who is 19.
Okay.
and-
No way.
Yes.
Stop.
She's lying.
Gotta be.
Right?
What are you twins? That's crazy.
And I have a son who's almost 17.
17. Okay.
Awesome.
They gonna go to college or anything like that?
My son is wanting to go to college. He plays baseball and golf.
Okay.
Nice.
I think he more or less wants to go for the experience,
Right.
just to go.
Right.
My daughter was just more of a, I want to get into working right away kind
Okay.
of thing.
You think she's gonna follow your footsteps?
No.
No, not at all.
I try to get both my kids to get their license at some point, just to have it.
Right.
But yeah, no interest whatsoever.
It's something nice to fall back on, right? Especially
That's what
living
I
in
think.
Texas right now. Yeah. So advice to new agents. It's a tough market, especially right now.
Yes.
What advice would you give? Or would you give any advice?
Oh gosh, I've actually had a lot of people over the last year reach out and tell me they're interested in getting in real estate one way or another. I think so many people see, everybody does well, or they'll see what's going, by the news or whatever they read online.
Right.
I think people forget that a lot of times people just talk about the pretty and the nice. They don't talk about what's actually going on behind the scenes.
Okay.
It is a very tough market. We have gained a lot of agents over the last few years.
Okay.
So we do have a lot in the market. The good news is we still have lots of people moving here. But the number one thing that we tell everybody is make sure you have some money in the bank.
Okay.
And it takes a bit. Some people are able to jump right in and just start making money right away and are able to close a deal in the first few months. Other people, it takes 6 months before you're ever getting a contract to close. And the people don't realize as realtors, we pay to have a job. There's fees that are due, and there's monthly dues and all these things. We're paying out of pocket every single month, whether we're selling something or not.
Right.
So that's why I tell everybody, when you get started, if you've got a nest egg, have that, because you don't know when your first deal is going to actually happen.
In the Q, you can kind of answer on this too. I feel like the roofing is kind of like that
Very
too.
similar, yeah.
You could go. I know when I first started, I went 5 months without getting paid.
Yeah.
So especially when you work off insurance proceeds the way we do.
Yeah.
Most people are like, oh yeah, roofers make a lot of money, but it's like, it just depends. You could get paid in a month. You can get paid in 2 weeks. It could be, depending on your sales skills, it could be a whole year.
Yeah,
So,
and they never talk about the ugly, right? Like, you definitely have to have money saved away. You got to pay for gas. Gas just skyrocketed.
Yes.
we're looking at like $6 a gallon right now.
$7 in California.
Right?
You know
Oh,
what
no.
I mean?
That's why they're moving here right now.
Another reason to come
Right.
to Texas.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And you just got to be prepared for it all, because you're going to have some clients that give you the idea that they're about to buy with you, and then they ghost you. And there's so many different variables that takes place in being successful in this industry. So overall, yeah, you can make some great money, but you definitely have to be prepared for the ugly as well. So I'm glad you said that.
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, what do you wish you would have known when you started? So, is there anything?
I think a lot of it just happens as we move along.
Okay.
You learn as you go.
Okay.
And we always tell everybody when the new agents come in the office, I work with them, and I always have to tell them, every deal is different. No two deals are ever going to be the same.
Okay.
Like I said, I've been doing it 17 years, and I've had some newer agents come to me and ask me some questions, and I'm just like, never dealt with that before, ever.
Right.
So let's find out. Let's figure out, what do we do in this situation? So I think that's been the biggest thing, is there's not really like a laid out plan to go, this is how everything's going to go. It literally is a learn as you go.
Okay. Do you think it's beneficial for that new agent to be put with that top producer? Or do you think it could hurt the top producer? Does that make sense?
Are you asking like for a team or just like to shadow?
So to shadow, yeah.
I think we do that in our office.
Do you?
We do. There's agents that if they want to, you know, they're like, can I just ride with you for the day to see how kind of you run your business and things like that. Everybody does their business different. And that's something I let all the agents know too. It's kind of, there's no right or wrong way.
Right.
Just because this one agent is a top producer, mimicking everything they do is not going to automatically make you a top producer.
Yeah, that's totally true.
Everybody does things differently. So I tell them, like, you pick and choose what works for you and what doesn't, and that's what's going to mold your business, and that's what's going to make you successful.
Okay, perfect. Another point I have right here, what are the ways you have found to boost your network and your business? So would that be open houses?
My business is actually 99% referral.
Referral?
Yes.
So
Same.
So when we're talking referral, is that because you've been doing it for 17 years and you gotta build up that clientele, or does that come from your networking, who you know?
It's always, so you're always taught in the beginning, you know, reach out to who you know.
Right.
So a lot of it, you know, started. My very first client actually was a childhood friend.
Okay.
Who, because of social media, this tells, you know, a bit of my age, but way back in MySpace days.
Yikes.
Oh, wow.
Not with Tom.
Hey, Tom.
Not Tom.
What's going on, Tom?
She saw that I was a realtor.
Right.
She had moved away and was living in Oklahoma. Her and her husband were moving back. And she's like, I see you're a realtor. Would you help us find a home here? And I was like, great. So that was my very first client. It just happened to be, she just saw me. I think social media has helped tremendously through the years. I even had a client, funny enough, back when I first started, I had reached out, or he didn't become a client because I reached out via MySpace, because that was the only contact information I had for him. And he was offended that I reached out that way. I guess he saw it as it wasn't professional. Well, look at us now.
Right. Say, yeah,
All right. Completely changed.
the world nowadays, right?
So, for me, it's always just been the who you know. And because my clients, when I work with them, I always tell them, you know, I don't disappear after closing.
Right.
I'm here. I'm here for every question you have, everything that comes along. And, of course, you know, if you have someone to refer to me, I'm here. I want you to be happy.
Right.
And so it's just over time, people have just sent me more business and more business.
Right.
And I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, I've had like a couple that have been like a random lead that comes from my broker, things like that, but 99%.
You're not banking on those leads, yeah.
No,
Right.
no, it's just,
You
it's
never
who I
want to.
know.
Right.
And you touched on social media. I think the majority of my new business comes directly from social media.
Yep.
Someone saw me, someone's forwarded my page to someone else, someone thought something's funny, and then over time, hey man, like, I just had a hailstorm. Can you come check it out? Because I know you're the guy. And like you mentioned, social media back in MySpace days would be completely shunned upon for you to reach out to somebody. But now it's like, hey, this is the only way I can communicate. Like, think about when COVID first hit, right? So you couldn't go knock on people's doors because they didn't want to get sick.
Yes.
So at this point, it's like, how do I communicate with people? And social media was that breaking point for especially a lot of the guys that work here.
Yeah, that's almost everybody that works with us.
I think it gives people a sense of who you are. They feel like you're more of a person
Yep.
because they get let into your life a little bit more.
Right.
And so, and nowadays, you know, reviews are massive because everybody wants to research. You know, I mean, word of mouth is always good because they're like, well, if so-and-so was so happy with you, then I'm going to. But you can't help but, you know, automatically look somebody up and see, you know, well, how good are they really, or this and that. And
Do they love what they do? Right.
Yeah.
yes.
Do they have a passion for it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I tell everyone, because nowadays, like we said, with so many agents in the market, you know, everybody knows, you know, 5 agents.
Yeah.
But I tell everybody, I'm like, it's a personality thing.
Right.
It's a relationship. Just because you know 5 doesn't mean you want to work with all 5.
No.
Yep.
So I think you come across someone, you're like, you know what, I really like them. I like their vibe. I
Right.
like who they are. I think I'd really enjoy working with them.
Right.
And so I think it brings so much more to the table to have that presence on social media.
And if you're getting good reviews, that's a good standpoint right there. Because right now people are getting on leaving reviews and like, I had this horrible experience at McDonald's. Like, you can't believe blah, blah, blah. So if you can get someone to actually take out some time and write a review about a good experience, you've blown everyone away.
Let's be honest. No one wants to go and leave a review. They just don't. Right?
Yeah,
just
except for when they're upset.
Yeah,
like
when they're upset right?
and they're really, really happy.
Yeah.
And the majority of the time, you're going to see somebody like angry Karen typing.
Right.
I can't believe this just happened, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
So, yeah, getting reviews is absolutely amazing. So, great job on that, too.
Thank you.
So, let's talk about the market right now.
Yes.
I recently was looking at purchasing houses. Now I'm kind of staying away from that. So, what do you think of this market? Do we see it getting any better in the next year? Or your honest opinion? Kind of give us a little bit of.
Well, my tagline or my saying is "You're real" for Mindi, because I'm very real.
Okay.
Very
There
honest.
you go.
I like that. There you go.
Nice pun.
I've actually had to turn down buyers.
Okay.
We're in a seller's market, as people can see. It's a very strong seller's market, but there's also the aspect of there's certain pockets of the Metroplex that aren't as competitive as others. And I think that's why I tell everybody, don't watch the news. Don't listen to what everybody else is saying.
Right.
I tell every one of my buyers, when it's the right time for you to buy, it will be the right time for you to buy.
Okay.
You'll just know. Because the market's so competitive, as a buyer, your agent has to be extremely creative and has to know the contract inside and out.
Okay.
Because if there's so much more to making offers than just how much can I bid over list price.
Right.
That's step one, of kind of that. But if you don't know the contract, there's so many other ways to make that seller happy as to why they might choose your offer over someone else's. So as a buyer, you have to have, strong buying power.
Right.
You've got to make yourself stand out that way. You've got to, unfortunately, have more cash flow than when we're in a buyer's market. Because right now, you can't really ask the sellers for help on anything. Back in the day, you could ask the seller to pay part of your closing costs or a chunk of that. And that's the way the market worked. But now, we've seen offers come as far as not only are they offering over list price, but the buyer is willing to pay the real estate agent's commissions as opposed to the seller paying, just to find any way to try to make their offer stronger.
Is this the first time we're seeing this?
Yes.
In your 17 years?
So, we've had, where we've had multiple offers, it used to be, 2 to 3. That was like, wow, I've got multiple offers.
Right. Now you get ding, 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 another offer, another offer, another offer.
Now on some listings, depending on the area, you can get over 100 offers.
Wow.
So when we say it's competitive,
It's competitive.
it is competitive.
Right.
That we're not blowing smoke.
Yep.
We're not just going, oh, everybody just fork out this money. It's just, and people forget that not every seller is looking for how much money can you give me.
Okay. So it's not the dollar amount.
No.
Yep.
Every seller's different. Everybody has a reason for selling, and we never know what that reason is. And so you just kind of have to be creative when you're looking to buy. Like I said, and a lot of it's just your area. So having an agent that knows the market and knows the market well and can go, hey, look, I know you really want to be in this area, but looking at what you've got to work with, are you able to be flexible? Can we look in this area? I feel like you've got a stronger chance of actually purchasing a home. I've had a lot of clients who we've started looking, and we just kind of realized it just financially does not make sense for them to buy right now. Yes, leasing versus purchasing, it sucks. Nobody wants to keep leasing, but sometimes that is the better option. And so I've had clients, like I said, we started looking, they decided, you know what, we're going to go ahead, we're going to find a way to save some more money, and we're going to come back.
Right.
The catch is, you're asked, what's the market going to be in a year?
Yeah.
We don't know.
Right.
I've been telling everybody since, COVID started, is we literally as agents are taking this market month by month. If you want to sell your house and you're like, oh, but we're looking at 6 months, what do you think we can get? Talk to me in 6 months.
Right. We don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And so, just things keep changing. People keep thinking we're in a bubble. No, we are literally in a supply and demand problem. And because our builders can't build fast enough to keep up with the people coming here, so that leaves our resale market. And people need places to live. So it's gotten very crazy.
Yeah, because you could sell your house for, would say, I think the average right now is like 57, 60,000 over asking price. So you could sell your home, and then are you going to find one?
Where are you going next?
Yeah, where are you going next? I ran into that. I live in an apartment currently right now, and all of my neighbors, every single neighbor sold their house, and now they're in an apartment. You can just look at their garage, and it's full of all their stuff, right? And they don't have anywhere to go. So it's kind of like, okay, you can sell, get more money, but where are you going to live? So I think that's the issue a lot of people are running into. Now, I have a question for you. So you sell your house, or you're looking to buy a house, right? So let's say you pay $100,000 over what they were asking for. Is that going to hurt you when you go to sell your home because you're spending more?
Depends where the market is when you go to sell.
Really? Okay. So if your house is only worth about $400,000, you paid $600,000, then you're kind of in a bind, right?
So like I had clients who bought a home a year ago, and literally we were able to sell it, and they were able to profit.
Really?
Our market when I first started used to be, everybody, the average was you stayed in your home 5 years if you wanted to sell, and that was maybe you could profit, but you'd probably break even, so you could go into another home. Then our market crashed, and sellers were actually bringing money to the table to get out of their homes. And then some of them were upgrading. Now, some of them were going to bigger homes, but in order to sell the home they were in, they had to bring money to the table. That's when sellers are like, yes, I'll pay your closing cost. I'll do this, whatever I can, so I can get out of this home. And then we slowly, kept going. And then the market, the biggest thing that happened for us in our area was when Toyota came.
Toyota?
When Toyota brought their corporate headquarters here, that was when we really first started seeing this multiple offers and paying over list price. And it was, it was a slow start. And it was like, okay. And then COVID hit. And I think we all panicked. And it was like, okay, well, what's happening now? Because in the beginning, as realtors, one county was telling us, don't show a home, you're going to be fined. And other counties were saying, no, go ahead. So, we're all like, where's our industry going? What's about to happen? And then it just slowly, people kind of started going, okay, well, let's move, let's buy, let's do this. I think a lot of people started working from home and realized, I don't have enough space. We need a larger home. So that then was driving the market a bit more. And then as COVID went on, that's when we slowly started seeing the supply problem with the builders. And it was like, okay, we're seeing what's happening here. And so then we were watching that gradual change with builders where all of a sudden there's wait list. Or it's going to take longer. Builders were trying to push off their buyers because they're like, we can't build as fast, so what can we do to slow this down? And then it was just a mix of so many things, it just it exploded. And literally what homes were selling for in January last year, nobody saw what we were in January to what started happening in May and June. May and June last year, our market went insane with over list price. So appraisers were actually having to automatically add, I think at one point someone said like 20% to whatever they were appraising, because even though you used a comp in January, you knew that home that you were looking at right now was going to sell for more, and it was automatically worth more. So when people ask, like, well, what's going to happen, or what's my home going to be worth, or if I'm overpaying now, what's going to happen in the future, we literally don't know. We've never been in this situation before. This is a first time we've been in this. So, anything can happen. There's the talk of World War III and things like that going on, and people want to keep throwing out, the R word. Is there a recession coming? What's going to happen? There's so many factors that can change our market at any moment. So my theory with my buyers, when I tell them to buy a home, is you're the one that has to make that mortgage payment every month if you're making a mortgage. You have to sleep at night going, am I comfortable? Am I okay with what I'm paying for this home? I can sleep at night knowing I wanted to pay this much. This is what I wanted. And the same aspect of I never want them to regret. So I always tell them, don't offer something that when you lay down at night and you're going to regret and think, why in the world did I pay this much for this home? Because it's up to you. We're here to guide you. We're here to help you. But at the end of the day, you have to know that when you go to sell, no one knows what your home's going to be worth. We can tell you what it's worth right now in this moment.
So you said Toyota. Is that because since they brought their corporate office here, it's providing more jobs? So more people are moving here? Or?
What Toyota did was they brought so many of their own employees. They gave them packages. And they said, hey, move here instead of, and if you stay here for so long, that kind of thing. So a lot of people were just, they had the cash flow. They were selling their homes, whether it was California, Kentucky. We had people from everywhere. And they were just moving here and going, well, I'm going to call it home now. And so because they brought so many people with them, and because they had the cash, which isn't a Texas thing. You know, in our market, people don't just show up with tons of cash. A cash buyer, you know, those were rare.
One-offs, yeah.
But then all of a sudden we have so many now. Yeah. And cash is what drives the market. Yeah. If a cash buyer, because there's not an appraisal involved, so you can say, hey, this house is only worth $100,000, but I'm competing. Well, I'm willing to pay $150,000. Well, guess what? That house is now worth $150,000 because buyers decide what a home is worth. What the buyers are paying tells the market that's what these homes are currently worth.
Wow. You got anything to
Yeah, so I'm actually on the good side of this. We're in the process of putting our house on the market to sell it. Haven't decided if we rather sell or lease, and whichever one is going to bring us the most profit is what we're looking at. And I think right now our home has like $60,000 in equity, but like you just mentioned, the buyers make all the calls. So we did a little test run, put it on the market, and it was like offer, and I was like, oh no, this is too much. Like let's hold off. So I get it, and it's crazy how quickly stuff is going. I remember maybe 4 years ago, my ex put the house on the market, and literally the house was sold 2 days later, and it's way worse than that now. So
yeah.
So yeah, if you're working for the seller. So my sister sold her house in Flower Mound, and I think it was on the market for like a day, and she took the first offer. Is that smart?
So everyone's situation is different. You can go as far as you see a lot in this market of people go, okay, let's make the home live, you know, on a Thursday or a Friday. Show it all weekend, and then we'll make a decision come Sunday, Monday, because some people are like, I want all the offers. I want everybody to fight for my house. You know, you get people who get very money hungry, you know, and a lot of times they love the idea that so many people want their home. It makes them happy. Because as a seller, most of the time, you know, you're proud of your home. There's a lot of ownership, a lot of pride in your ownership. Yeah. So to see that so many people want your home, it kind of is like, oh, this is awesome.
It's like a rush.
It is. And so you have some people who are like that. You have other people who are just like, no, I don't want to deal with the showings. I don't want to deal with everybody coming and going. So some people are like, look, whatever offers come in that first day, I might pick one of those and I'm done. Right. You have some people who choose to never go on the market. It's called, basically they're like, we want you to list our home, but I don't want it to go into the MLS. I want you to kind of like, you know, word of mouth sell it. Okay. Because they don't want to deal with the craziness. Some people and that's why other people turn to investors because they're like, oh, they think they're getting a good deal. And I think in this market, that's kind of what have driven a lot of for sale by owners because they think, oh, well, homes are selling so easy, you know, let's just do it. And so, but they're not realizing there's a lot of work behind it. And I completely forgot what the question was that you asked me. I just kept going, and I was
no worries.
Like,
I have one. So for our viewers who don't know what MLS stands for, what does that stand for?
Multiple listing services. So the MLS is where all of the agents actually put all of our listings. And that is where you're seeing the listings on Realtor.com or your agent's website, whatever. It has to go into our MLS first in order to go elsewhere. Okay. There are certain websites that we do not like. They're not accurate at all.
Zillow. Oh, man. Hey, I was just looking the other day, and I saw Zillow popped up, and I'm like, I thought Zillow wasn't a thing anymore.
They're a thing. I mean, they came in. They were trying. Them and a couple of other companies were trying to dominate the market by coming in and buying up a bunch of homes. And then they were trying to turn profits, and they realized their game plan wasn't so great, and they just had to dump a bunch of homes that they had purchased. So karma, maybe.
Well, that's awesome. Another question I have for you: what are the best things to do to increase the value of your home before you sell it? So would you wait for the home inspector report? Because I guess what do you think would be the best?
New roof.
Why would we think about that?
Yeah. That's crazy.
So people don't realize there's a thing between selling features and value. Right. There's things that you can do to spend money on your home that's going to make it more sellable. Okay. That buyers are going to be more impressed with. Okay. And then there's things that actually add value. So let's say, you know, your AC's on its last leg, you know, and this and that. So if you know it needs to be replaced because it's going to go out or something like that, or I always tell people like, oh, I just got a new hot water heater. I got a new AC. That's great. There's no quote unquote true value there.
Because that's something the home should already have.
Because it has to have it. It's kind of like a car. You know, there's no value because you put brand new tires on it. There's no value because you got your oil change. These are things that have to happen in order for the car to run. You have to have a hot water heater. You have to have HVAC to make your home run. So those are great selling points because that lets the buyer know that headache's gone. You're not going to have
something I'm not going to have to deal with
because someone's already spent the money for it. As far as value, it goes more towards like you're updating your floors. Your your bathrooms, kitchen. Those are major ones because if you've put in new flooring or you've updated your kitchen or you've updated your bathrooms, you're giving yourself value and it's also a sellable feature.
It's drawing more people in.
Depending on what you choose, I should say. We've seen some homes and you're kind of going,
why would you put those floors in there?
You're kind of going, okay, all right.
Like we might have to fix this kitchen before we put it for sale.
So, but there's certain things that add value. But because of our market right now, there are people who literally
willing to.
They are like, they get, all realtors are not created equal. There are some people who will just put a sign in the yard, take pictures. I think there's nothing more devastating. I know people have seen them when you're flipping through listings and there's dirty dishes in the sink. The beds aren't made. It's like literally someone just walked into your home and just took pictures and threw it up. To me, as a realtor, you're not doing your job if you do that. Because it's telling the world, why do I need a realtor?
No,
I could have done that.
Anyone could do that.
Anybody can do that. So when you have, to make your home more showable, the idea of when you're selling your home is you want the buyers to be able to picture themselves in the home. You want them to go, you know what, this is where I could live. But right now in our market, because your home's going to sell the second you put it on the market. So people aren't putting forth as much effort, but what they're not realizing is you could get more. I mean, the thing is you're already getting a ton of money as is, but you could get maybe more than what you were hoping for to be able to get into your next home if maybe you would have done a few other things and made your home more presentable to other people.
I've definitely been catfished when it comes to looking at some homes, and I was purely going off photos online, and then I get there, I'm like, are we at the right address? Because the house, because it does not look like the photos at all. So that definitely deterred me, and I was saying, this is not for me.
And like you did bring up about the whole roof thing, because we are here, and it should definitely be brought up. It's like, and people don't realize, like y'all said, it's kind of, that during the inspection process or even during the appraisal, that if that roof isn't good to go, you're going to end up
paying for it and
having to get it replaced. So if you know that roof needs to be done, rather than do the headache, do it ahead of time.
Just
and
get
be
it
done with it.
Right. Or get say you're working for the buyers, and the good thing with us, we do work off insurance proceeds. So obviously what we do is we wait. We can do it before the home inspection, or we can do it after if the roof does get flagged. But it just, time is essential right now for the market. So we like to jump ahead of it. But the good thing is we work off insurance proceeds. So if the roof is damaged, we're going to be transparent about it. And we're going to let you know, like, hey, this is either, this is going to pass and you're going to be good for the next 10 to 15 years. Or, hey, if your buyers buy this in 2 years, they're going to be spending $30,000 to $40,000 on it. So either, we can take this out of the price of the selling, or we can go through the seller's insurance, get insurance to pay for it. So, which anybody in the right mind would probably want insurance to pay for the brand new roof. So all in all, we help the seller sell and the buyers buy. So we're willing to help out anybody out there.
And the cool thing before you move on is replacing the roof will give your new buyer a discount on insurance.
On the policy.
So you get a brand new roof, you get a discount on that policy, and that right there will be like, oh my God, and you're saving me money on my insurance. Let's go. Let's get it fixed.
But not everybody thinks that way, right?
Trust me, I know that firsthand. I literally spoke to a guy who was like, hey, I'm not going to replace my roof. I'm selling this home this year. Okay, have you did your homework? He's like, yeah, I'm smart. And I was like, oh, all right.
I probably worked with him before.
I can tell you what street he lives on, but I don't want to, put him out there.
Yeah, we're not going to do that. So I got 2 more questions for you. I know this is probably a question you don't want to answer, but I'm still going to ask it because we know you're a humble person. So someone's looking to buy or sell a home. Why should they use you?
awesome.
Because you're awesome.
I guess part of it is because I have been doing it for so long.
Mm-hmm.
I know everybody has to start somewhere in this industry. You know, we've all had day one at some point.
Right.
In this market, though, you have to have somebody who knows what they are doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, knowing that contract is so important, and people don't realize that there's so many, unfortunately, agents out there who don't know the contract.
Right.
And that can end up costing you money one way or another. It could cost a big headache. So I've just been doing it for so long, you know, and I just kind of, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm very good at what I do.
Right.
And so why not use me?
Yeah.
Hey, I'll just throw in there that you care. Like, just hearing this whole conversation today, you're talking about making sure that the buyer was happy, they would be comfortable with actually paying that mortgage payment, and if all of those things are okay. That's how I know I would choose you. You know what I mean? Like, you literally thought about caring, you present the package right. It's more than just experience. So I'll toot your horn there since you won't.
Yeah, it's relational, not transactional.
Absolutely.
It is.
I can feel that vibe as well.
I always say I'm kind of like I'm the realtor other realtors don't necessarily like.
Right.
Because
You get that all the time when it
But
comes to roofers.
That's a whole nother can of worms there.
But I think it is because I am so honest. There is no, like, if you're asking me to come in for a listing appointment, there is no big show and dance.
Right.
I'm just going to tell you, you know, the facts and where we're going with this and what the plan is. There's no need for me to put on a big show because I don't need to sell you on anything else because I know I'm good at what I do. And if I'm giving you the right information, why would you not use me?
Right.
You know, and so, and I tell all my clients, you know, one, this is your largest investment you're ever going to make. Yeah. We want to make sure it's a good one. And let's be honest, if you buy a house that you regret, who are you going to blame? Me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I want to make sure it's a good purchase, you know? I mean, and all my clients have pretty much become friends, you know, when we work together. I mean, it literally is like a lifetime, you know, kind of thing. Now I've gained people, you know, we've become better friends or closer because of it. And just because I do care. I really do, you know, and I think the worst thing ever as an agent is when you go to work with someone who is selling a home who used another agent prior to, and they were so unhappy. Or you hear the horror stories from somebody else going, oh, well, my agent did this or that, and you just cringe.
Yeah.
Because of this one bad experience, they think we're all like that.
Yep.
You know, and it's kind of, I think that kind of happens with everything. People see one bad experience and they assume that everyone is that way or the whole industry is that way.
Oh, yeah.
And
We
it's
get
just
that a
not.
lot.
I'm sure. Because,
Us being
I
contractors
mean,
get it a lot as well. It's, hey, I had terrible experience with previous roofers. You guys are all con artists or you're taking my money. And it's definitely not like, hey, there's a lot of great contractors out there, but there's a lot of bad as well. And same thing when it comes to being a realtor. So I totally get that and understand that 100%. So, well, hey, I thank you for coming in. Do you have anything else you want to ask before we close out?
I don't know.
No? Okay.
Yeah, I thought you had one more question.
Nope, that wraps it up.
Oh, there we go.
So, well,
right.
thanks, Mindy, for coming out.
Thank you for
if you
having
guys
me.
have any questions or want to work with Mindy, her information will be at the link. Please click it and definitely subscribe, or her number will also be listed. So, thanks for coming out.
Thank you. Yay.